But it's possible that I will be designing a yard and a garden from scratch in the next couple of years because we just had an offer accepted on some property. So I've been going around my garden and considering things like where the chickens are and how the faucets are done. So I thought I would talk about a few things that I am going to be taking into consideration. One of the first things is the paths. Now, putting in these paths was a great improvement over the dirt. It has really helped keep down the weeds, but there were a couple of things that I would do differently. And as I make any of these suggestions, I know that plans can change or that things cannot go quite as expected, but these are just some ideas. So the first thing is that I would have the pavers closer together and with fewer places for wheelbarrow or cart wheels to catch, because it's one thing to be pushing an empty wheelbarrow or pulling an empty cart across here, but once they're full, that's harder. And another issue is that if I spilled over at all dirt into the rocks and leaves, it's kind of a problem to clean up, and it created places where weeds and plants grow. Leaves are a little easier to clean up. This path over here has been the hardest because there have been a lot of edges and things that have become exposed here. The faucets are another thing. These are a wonderful addition to my raised beds that my husband put in, especially for me here. But there have been a couple of issues for me. One issue has been the direction of the faucet and trying to hook the hose up. It would be nicer if it was pointing up, but also it might be a little nicer to have it closer to the raised bed. I will be very disappointed to leave these new cement raised beds that my husband has just been making for me this year. Another issue is hose storage. Of course, this time of year when I'm hardly doing anything out here, they can just all be wound up. But it would be nice to have a vertical rack of something like what people do along the side of the house. And if I could have that just at the end of a raised bed a little bit and hang the hose here, and then it wouldn't be so much in the path. I think I might be more likely to put it away in between, and then the hoses aren't the issues for tripping and for pulling wagons over. The width of 4 foot wide with a length of 12, those are 12 over there, to 16 feet long over here has been a really good width, and I've really, you can reach the center from either side pretty easily and avoid walking on things. And I would definitely do raised beds again. You don't have to keep rototilling them and forming them every year. I would really like to have the chicken area adjacent to the garden area so that in the fall it could be easy to open a gate. This distance for the arch of a trellis going from one raised bed to another has been a nearly ideal distance. Over here I have these and I've used them and they've been pretty good, but you can see that they're strained a little bit. So if I want to do this, I would want to do it with, again, possibly just spacing those raised beds a little bit more. I don't know if I would take my junk raised beds, as I call them. I found this year that I really liked having this depth, this height of raised beds for my potatoes. It made digging them easier. I would not do a trellis this shape again. It's very hard to get through that area. One of the things that I do really like about where my garden is situated now is that I can see it pretty much all the way from the kitchen window, and that inspires me to take care of it and to come harvest things when I'm getting ready to cook. Probably wouldn't have the brick oven quite that close to a raised bed there, but that's a whole different story. I really appreciate my little shed off to the side here for lawn mowing, the lawnmower, and for garden tools and all like that. I just think it would work better for me to have it more on my path coming from the house. In the same category, but a little different, this is my greenhouse, and I would avoid having lawn right up next to it and sprinklers going because they got the windows with a lot of hard water spots on them that are very difficult to get off, and it's not good for the wood. I also like the exposure of my garden. It's on the south side of the house and a little bit blocked from the wind that comes over the hill. I just might have it angled a little bit around so I had some of it on the eastern side for some things like strawberries and lettuces that really don't like the strong afternoon heat in the summer. Well, it has obviously snowed since I last came out and thought about my garden. I was thinking about my sprinklers. I like having my sprinklers, you can see the one there, set up so that in the spring it can spray all the seedlings on a regular basis, but then I can adjust them when a lot of them don't like to be watered on the top, or it's just more efficient to do the soaker hose or drip irrigation thing. So yes, I want these kinds of sprinklers for part of the time. I definitely want to stick with the Netafim drip irrigation for the rest of the time. And that's about the summary of it. It'll be hard to leave all these things that we've taken so many years to build up here. And on the other hand, it might be fun to do some things that in ways we think would be better than